you ever been dress coded in high school? Well, I have. Dress codes in high school are designed to where females do not show off revealing parts of their bodies. Understanding why a district puts a certain dress code in place is important to understand. Most high school students complain about the dress codes since the females are always getting dress coded. Today, I would like to explain and show you what a dress code looks like, who is affected, and why and under what circumstances they should be enforced under. Most students are dress coded for simple mistakes that cost them time out of school. The dress code policy is something that can either hurt or help someone. Every school has a different dress code policy that they enforce and how they do that. In this one school, dress code policy, it states, pants must have no holes, rips, tears, or frayes, intentional or unintentional, above 5 inches from the center of their kneecap. No tight, form-fitting pants. If leggings are worn, the entire bottom and front side must be covered by a shirt or dress. Shirts may not have spaghetti straps or show off midriff. Shirts must cover all underwear. Dress code. This is a responsible dress code. Most girls want the freedom to wear what they want to do and always have a problem. In an online article, it states, in the past year, schools all over the country made national news for the ways they enforce their dress codes. Asking a student to put duct tape over the holes in her jeans, suspending a student for a skirt that was too short, or sending a student to the office for not wearing a bra, all of which take focus off of learning and place it on the girls' bodies. Bear it. I can speak from experience that when getting dress coded, it is very embarrassing. There is a dress code check in the mornings before school starts. The students violating the dress code get sent to the office. Most of the time, it is simple infractions like stated above, the holes in the jeans, or a shirt that might be a little too revealing. In another article, it states, it is unclear whether the current disparity is due to specific aspects in the dress codes that apply only to girls, or if the policies are being irregularly enforced, but the net result shows bias. Most girls are being disciplined, more girls are missing class. The subtext is, girls are the distraction, grown and flown in 2020. When a female is in class and gets dress coded, it takes all of the attention off of the learning that should be happening and puts it on a female who is embarrassed. There is also the alternative reality that schools think. In another article, it states, students should realize that brief and revealing clothing are not appropriate in school, from the dress code. Students should know that the dress code and abide by it, but sometimes a female just wants to wear what she wants to wear without being shamed. I am very against wearing vulgar clothing to school. As long as the clothing is not showing boobs or butt, it should be allowed. In another article, it states, dress codes are put in place to promote a safe learning environment with minimal distractions. But, as anyone whose teen has been charged with violating it can attest, adhering to such detailed policies is more distracting than distraction they were designed to prevent. Grown and flown 2020. Dress codes often have many gray areas that you never know who will get the backlash from it. School dress codes should be a little more lenient, or the punishments should not affect a student's education. There are policies in place for a district's dress code and how an administrator should handle the situation and how that affects others. Students who get dress coded often face consequences that interrupt their learning in school. These consequences could include getting a day of ISS or getting sent home, which disrupts that individual student's day. In the article, it states, common punishments for those violations included missing class time or facing suspension as a result of hair, makeup, or clothing styles that were deemed inappropriate. Jones, 2021. Dress code punishments need to come with a lesser charge. There is also the understanding that everyone should dress civil. However, the punishment for this is affecting these students' education. In another online article, it states, students are often told their attire is inappropriate and that this is a matter of self-discipline and character. Even being sent home on the basis that what they were wearing is disrespectful. But we rarely question what purpose these rules serve, who the rules exclude, and how these rules impact students' mental and emotional well-being. It's high time we start. 2020. Students need to be held accountable. However, they also need to be taught how to take care of themselves and get an education. During this time, teenagers' hormones are running wild, and when they get sent home for wearing the wrong thing, they will do one of two things: rebel against or sit at home with poor mental health. I am not trying to sit here and say that students should wear whatever they want to school without punishment. Working towards finding a different way of disciplining students. We should take account the good and bad and focusing on students' mental health. In a different article, it states, and in fact, without careful attention to knocking down systematic barriers to inclusively in schools, efforts to promote social emotional learning and individual students could do more harm than good. 2020. The one thing that a school should take into account is how this affects the young men in the schools. There are young men in schools that are the reason of women's dress code. It is because the young women's clothing is somewhat distracting. In the last website that I found, it states, sexist rules also set a precedent for men, she adds. It is offensive to men. It suggests they don't have the ability to talk to a female without getting wild. Barrett. These young men are not thinking about this. However, it is something that needs to be thought about by others. Dress code policies should take everyone and everything into account, not just what someone should be wearing. Today, girls are disciplined for what they wear to school. There is a point in which the student is wearing revealing clothing and needs to go home. However, girls are being punished for regular clothing. The dress code needs to be a little more lenient. If that cannot change, I would like to change the punishment in which they get when violating this dress code. First, we discussed some of the dress code policies and how students interpret it. Second, we discussed how the school systems handle these dress code violations. Thank you, and I hope no one misses out on the education based on their attire.